Greetings, guzzlers, and welcome back to a lovely edition of Ben Buys Beverages. And today's a special day, and let me tell you why it's a special day. It's the day you hit the like and subscribe buttons. Aside from that, today's a special day because it's the feast day of St. Barbara. And you ask, why do I care? I'm not Catholic. Because it doesn't matter. St. Barbara is the patron saint of many people. Chief among them, the artillery, the United States artillery. So today, in artillery units across the globe, there's celebrations of sorts. The ones I was partial to involved a big fancy dinner and fancy uniforms. So to celebrate that, I'm wearing my favorite Vet Bro sweatshirt. It's the only item of clothing from a Vet Bro company I own that still fits. So regardless, St. Barbara, she is a Catholic saint of artillerymen and armorers and military engineers and others who work with explosives and also mathematicians. And her story is very simple. Why? See, way back in the 600s, she told her daddy, "Daddy, I'm a Christian." And he said, "Oh, no, you didn't." And he chopped her head off. And then he was struck down by lightning and burst into flame. So, as lightning strikes from above, so does artillery strike from afar. And that's why she was picked. Regardless, the king of battle, as it were, the artillery, here stateside are often referred to as red legs. And the red leg thing, stems way back in the early 19th century, when everybody in the U.S. Army wore shades of blue. But to tell the branches apart, they all were assigned different colors. And these different colors were in varying widths up and down their legs. And as you can imagine, the artillery color is bright red, hence the name red legs. So, moving forward far in time to the late 20th century, I joined my first active duty unit in Korea. And guess what type of unit I was a staff officer in? That's right, artillery. And you know what they had? That kind of blows my mind even today. A yearbook for the 1st 15th Field Artillery, Camp Casey, Korea, 1998. There's many pictures in here. They're all black and white. Oddly enough, I still keep up with several of those folks. And it's those folks that helped me experience the idea of tradition and history in the military that I'd read about. And it was probably the last time I experienced it, but whatever. As a brand new lieutenant, it was great. And since I keep up with some of those folks, I consulted with some of those red legs, via Facebook, because how else am I going to do it? And I said, "Hey, I want to do a drink for St. Barb's. What do you recommend?" And they said, "Hey, French 75s. I've referenced them before, and it's a great idea because the French 75 is a drink named after a French howitzer. It's a 75 millimeter, or about 3-inch or so, for you non-metric sorts at home. Excuse me. And the French 75 started in the 1890s and carried all the way through World War II. But it was after World War I that this drink became popular. Now, this drink, I might add, is, as Steve Buys Beverages pointed out in our discussion, the point of the French 75, I think, is to get destroyed as quickly as possible in the most civilized of ways. First, you think of the name, and it can help you make the right choices. And speaking of the right choices, the other Steve Buys Beverages did kindly point out that if you do not ever drink red wine before French 75s, or the resulting Technicolor yawn is a very in-keeping artillery red. So with that excellent advice for all of us, let's talk about the drinks. I ended up with 2 recipes, really. I have this one, the traditional one, which is gin and orange Cointreau, or whatever triple sec you have at home. For me, it's Cointreau. And then champagne, not the super expensive bottle, but not the cheap garbage either, it was recommended. And then a spritz of fresh lemon. So here we go with the gin. And yes, for those at home, it's about 3 drinks worth, which is why these are so potent and well named. All I can initially taste really is the lemon and the champagne. Don't know if that's good or bad. The flavor saver there, my mustache, I apologize. It's all running down. I'm trying to catch it all. It's tasty, it's refreshing. You barely notice the gin, but it's good and smooth, which is probably why it wrecks people. The other variant on this, based on the cold weather, it was suggested that instead of gin, I use brandy. So that's what we've got here. Brandy, champagne, Cointreau, and a spritz of lemon. Now that one, I can taste the orange, which is great. If anything, this one has a stronger, more noticeable taste, and I love it. And between the glasses, these are the only 2 I own that match, so I had to use them. And the ice in them, they are sweating all over the place. So that's okay, though, because they make me think. They make me think about notable redlegs from history. One of the most popular stories Americans learn about is Molly Pitcher. During the Revolutionary War, 1778 or thereabouts, she was being the good wife. She was running pitchers of water and bandages to her husband's gun crew. Well, she gets up there and the last member's knocked out. So she picks up the ramrod and she carries on the fight with the help of the few guys surviving. She fights through. Other popular redlegs include Alexander Hamilton, but that's not what his musical's about. Bummer. Edgar Allan Poe, quoth the raven nevermore. President Truman, Babe Ruth, Mel Brooks, and of course Lou Holtz. And I mention him not because he's a coach, but because he stems from my alma mater, a proud graduate of Kent State University. So that's for Kent. Yeah, I'm finishing the brandy one first. And you know, all this drinking, all this thinking makes me realize that I'm probably going to sing a song. And for those of you with any sense of military history can guess which one. But, oh, this is so good. There was a song written in the early 1900s about the horse-drawn cavalry, because that's how you would get cannons around. And behind each towed cannon was another little trailer with a box on it. That box is called a caisson or a casson. Either way, they got a clever song. You ready? Over hill, over dale, we have hit the dusty trail, and the caissons go rolling along. Counter march right about, hear those wagon soldiers shout, and the caissons go rolling along. For it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Count out your numbers loud and strong. For where we go, you will always know that those caissons go rolling along. With the cavalry boot to boot, we will join in the pursuit, and those caissons go rolling along. Axe in front at a trot, volley fire with shell and shot, as the caissons keep rolling along. And it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Count out your numbers loud and strong. For where we go, you will always know that those caissons keep rolling along. Wow, I'm so excited. Got all these artillery memories in my brain. For those unaware, the proper use of modern technology, of modern howitzers and artillery, is you need spotters on the ground so they can see where the target lands, make sure it hits where it's going, and to kind of bracket it in so you actually hit stuff. But sometimes you don't have eyes on target, or you have idiots backing the guns and they're pointed the wrong way. And in those cases, there's a verse just for those instances. Was it high? Was it low? Where the hell did that one go as the caissons keep rolling along? Was it left? Was it right? Now we won't go home tonight as the caissons keep rolling along. And it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Count out your numbers loud and strong. For where'er we go, you will always know that those caissons keep rolling along. Excuse me. The astute among you realize that, hey, that's the Army song tune. And in fact, it is, because the Army, in proper Army fashion, has used its force to take what it wants and repurpose it, because that's why we have armies. To take other people's things and to keep people from taking our things. So on that note, one final verse, and then I bid you all an adieu. Here we go. But if fate me should call and I should in action fall, keep those caissons rolling along. Then in peace I'll abide as I take my last ride on a caisson that's rolling along. And it's hi, hi, he in the field artillery. Count out your numbers loud and strong. Where'er we go, you will always know that those caissons keep rolling along. Happy St. Barbara's Day, all you red legs out there, and everybody else. Cheers!